Hi, this is Kieran with the CCG on the streets. This is Nicholas. Nice to meet you, Nicholas.
Nice to meet you.
We're just going on the streets to ask a bunch of people in Hamilton what their honest opinion on a bunch of provocative topics. You okay?
Yeah.
All right. What are your thoughts on immigration, mass immigration, remigration, deportation, and is any of it justified?
I think that immigration is fine. I think that it's justified. Everybody wants to come here and have a good new life. But I think when they come here, they should adapt to our way of life and how what they had was so good and they want to bring it over here, then why wouldn't they have just stayed if it's so good?
Right on. Do you trust the current Liberal government or Carney in general?
Trust them to spend all of my tax money, but I don't trust them with anything else. Trust them to lie to me every day.
Yeah. A lot of Canadians are feeling that. A lot of people are saying that, and to be honest, a lot of people want to say things, but they don't want to say it on camera. So I appreciate you having the gonads to actually say what you mean on camera. What are your thoughts on freedom of information, freedom of speech, free internet, and free access to the news? Because I know a lot of that's up in the air right now.
Well, I don't think in Canada we do have freedom of news because it's all leaning towards one side compared to the other, and they're trying to make everything else that they don't agree with their enemy. And I also think
Freedom of speech.
We don't have freedom of speech here. I don't agree with that. I think everybody should be able to express themselves the way that they want to be expressed, and we don't have that. And after the two new bills that they just passed, they just keep restricting it.
They do. That's something that I found out. As I was telling you off camera, I was just trying to share an article that had something that was going on in England. As I don't know if you know about what's happening in England. It seems like Carney's going to make it happen here, and that's terrifying to me. But I want to share a news article, and it said you're not allowed to share this news in Canada. And so I had to take a picture of this, and then post a picture on another website. And it was.
Yeah, because they want to control they want to control the news. They want to control how people speak. We're like 3 steps away from communism if we keep controlling everything that happens, everything we do.
It's scary because a lot of countries consider us a totalitarian regime now.
I would agree with that.
I would too, unfortunately. And I think it's gonna Canada. A lot of people, even new arrivals, like the guy who I had on here before, Sadat. He was saying Canada's going to wake up real soon to realize that a lot of their rights are gone, a lot of their ability to stand up to other people moving here and imposing their way of life upon us. Like there's a quote by Wilfrid Laurier, our 7th Prime Minister, who said we shouldn't stop anyone from becoming Canadian, but we should not let anyone impose their way of life upon us or their faith. And I'm paraphrasing. That's not exactly word for word. But
I also think we should take care of our own first. I think everybody should come here. Everybody should have the same rights. But at the same time, we have all these people that are coming here, most from good lives. They come from they have parents, they have money, they have a place to live. Meanwhile, you go all across downtown Hamilton, and there's people that were born here, worked their whole lives here, and are dying on the streets every single day. But we're not supposed to think about them. We're not thinking about the jobs that could be going towards those people. We just have to think about the one side of it. They're not giving their side a voice.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I actually, that brings up a thought to me, because a lot of people are just like, well, we need to focus on the new arrivals. Meanwhile, I'm looking at all the increase in homelessness, the addiction, and it's like, if you think you're going to end up homeless in Canada last 1 year, including the winter, without getting addicted to drugs, you're insane. Because if you're going to try and freeze in a tent all night without getting high to try and stave off the cold, it's going to happen. And the fact that we are providing free housing and food stamps to people that don't ever intend to work. It's different if they come here and it's just like a temporary thing until they get a job, until they work.
Yeah.
But if they're just surviving on that for years, I think it needs to be cut off.
No, I absolutely agree with that. I was in a shelter myself for 14 months on and off for the last 2 years, and now I have a room to live in. But it's I'm having a hard time finding employment, and I just think, and I knew a few people that were at the shelter that were like brand new here, and that they were receiving disability, and they were receiving like all of these like government money services, when it's like that money is meant for people here. And if you can't, as if you go to move to the U.S., you have to be able to support yourself for at least 1 year.
Exactly.
And we don't have that here, and I think a law like that should be imposed here, so then you can like make a life for yourself and like be able to support yourself. Like if you're moving somewhere, you should be able to support yourself and not have the government support you or everybody else support you.
That's a very good idea. That's a very good idea. I haven't heard anyone say that to me. I'm gonna look into that actually. I'm gonna move on because I could get into a conversation with you forever. And if you actually, I will take down your email if you actually want to get on a podcast for me. That'd be amazing. Yeah. Because you actually have a lot of cool insights, and that's really nice to meet somebody like that. And you kind of touched on this already, but I'm going to ask, what are your thoughts on Bill C9 and C63?
I think it's an infringement on our freedom of speech and like on the way that we can express ourselves by controlling the way that we like share stuff on social media, or like how you said you can't share this information in Canada. It imposes like rules and regulations to like our freedoms and how we can talk, when just because everybody isn't going to like it, that shouldn't mean we can't say what everybody's going to say.
So there's a thing with Bill C63 where certain parts of the Bible can be considered hate speech.
Yeah, I think that's disgusting.
It is, because now with the rising immigration, that there's a big push for Islamification. And there's a big talk about how Islamification is really just Arabization. It's Arabian colonization. Now, this is just something that has to have an honest conversation.
Isn't applicable to the Western world, I don't think, because the way that they structure their lives and the way that they live their lives doesn't click with the way that like we live our lives and like the freedoms that we all enjoy. Because if you like read like so much like into their stuff, it like look at how far like women have come, for example. Like we used to oppress women like hundreds of years ago, and now we have all of like women can have all of these freedoms, like they can work. But if you take their law, like in most of their places, women can't go without the company of a man, being their father or their husband. Women can't take all of the inheritance from their family. They're only applicable to half, when their sons are applicable before. So I think it would be like robbing people here of a lot of the rights that they have fought so long and hard to have. I think it's a step in the wrong direction, not a right direction.
What do you think about the rising Islamic influence and aggression in Canada?
I think people have a really strong opinion about it, and like I have an opinion about it, and I think it's like all of these people want to come over because they want to escape and they want to say that like this place is so bad, but then they don't want to come and adapt to our ways. So I think it's just like